So what is bankruptcy? Well, bankruptcy is actually under 11 USC of the Federal Code. Now, there's lots of different flavors of bankruptcy, but the two that apply to people like you and me are either going to be Chapter 7 or Chapter 13. These are completely different types of bankruptcies. It just really depends on what you have going on. Now, for Chapter 13 is more for folks that, let's say you are about to lose your home to foreclosure, or your car just got repossessed, or you may have massive child support arrears that you are fighting off a warrant or maybe a license suspension. Chapter 13 will allow you to actually take all of those debts, put them into one pot, so to speak, and then you have up to 5 years to pay that pot back. Now, depending on your specific financial circumstances, in a lot of cases, some of that debt you may not have to repay at all, some of the unsecured debt. Of course, when you meet with the bankruptcy attorney, they'll be able to do a better analysis, look at your income, your assets, and determine what kind of repayment plan you're going to be in. Now, a Chapter 7 bankruptcy is probably what you think of, or what most folks think of when they hear bankruptcy. Some people will call a Chapter 7 a total bankruptcy, because what a Chapter 7 does is it's going to get rid of all of your unsecured debt that's eligible, and then you get a fresh start. Now, of course, it's not going to help you get caught up on anything or restructure. So if you're behind on secured debts like your car or your home, or child support, you've got to still deal with those creditors directly. A Chapter 7 is not going to help you with that. But what it will do is clear out all of your unsecured debt. So, for example, I have a lot of folks that just have a lot of credit card debt, but they don't really have a lot of assets, and they just need to get rid of the unsecured debt so they can get a fresh start. That's a Chapter 7. The decision to file a Chapter 7 or a Chapter 13 is a serious one, and you need to make sure that you meet with an experienced bankruptcy attorney that can go over each of them for your situation. Don't just let a bankruptcy attorney tell you you have to file one or the other. You really need to ask them to explain the differences and the pros and cons. Just an FYI, as a bankruptcy attorney, we usually make about 4 times as much money when we file Chapter 13 cases, because Chapter 13 cases can usually last up to 60 months. So we're your lawyer for 5 years. So trust me, that's a good deal. However, most Chapter 7 cases, at least here in Georgia, most attorney fees are going to range anywhere from about $1,000 to maybe $2,000 depending on the complexity. But Chapter 7 cases are pretty short. You're usually looking at being in a bankruptcy maybe 4 or 5 months. So it's a much shorter amount of time and a lot less work. So just make sure when you meet with an attorney to determine which chapter works for you that they go over each kind.